Hi, I'm Eric Folks, and today we're going to talk about using anonymous mode in Smart Response for inserting one question at a time, or instant questions. First thing you want to do is make sure that your smart receiver is plugged in, and once it gets plugged into the USB port on your computer, it's going to give you a few different notifications that will appear on the bottom right hand side of your screen, and eventually you'll get a green light on the receiver to indicate that everything is good to go. So what is anonymous mode good for? Well, it is great for quick formative assessment. With anonymous mode, you're going to be able to pull in those kids who are reluctant to participate in normal formative assessment. You know, they may not put their hand up if they've got a question. They may not be willing to answer questions, but with clickers, they have complete anonymity or the ability to participate discreetly. And in that way, you'll pull in a lot more students than you normally would. So how do we go about doing it? Well, here are the steps, but we're going to go ahead and walk through them. We're going to insert a question. We can add content to that question page if necessary. We want to make sure that our anonymous mode is turned on. We're going to start the question, monitor students' progress, stop the question, and view the results. So let's go ahead and try it. So here I've got a page with some content already loaded on it. So we've talked about different types of animals, and now the question is, which of these animals is a dog? So I want to find out if they actually know. So I'm going to click on the little Smart Response icon or tab over here on the left-hand side, and I'm going to say Instant ABCD. Now under my response preferences, I've indicated that I want to be asked every time if the new question goes on this page or a new page. So I'm going to say this page. And I click over here, and response doesn't know which questions are going to go with which pictures, so I've got to very quickly move these where they're supposed to go. And I can scooch that out of the way. Alright, so from the response tab here, we can see that we're waiting for 3 anonymous students. That's based on the number of students that are signed into the class. And on the clickers, they are prompted to answer A, B, C, or D based on my question here. So we'll give them a chance to answer. And I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like as the answer. One student guessed B, another student went with C, and yet another student went with C. So you can see it's a little grayed out just to indicate that the question hasn't been stopped yet and these results are in progress. If we weren't in anonymous mode, we would actually see the names of the students we're waiting on to finish. Not necessarily what they answered here, but that we're waiting on them to finish. Okay, so I'm going to stop the question, and now we can see the results. So it's very easy to just drag this up and make it a whole lot bigger if I want. You can see we also have the option of inserting the chart in a notebook if we wanted to as well. So now you can discuss right then and there with the students why they answered what they answered and reteach as necessary. So under next steps, I'm going to say that I want to clear the results to take this assessment again. And we're going to move on to our next page. Alright, so we discuss, would you expect a horse to be faster than a dog? So here we're going to say we need a instant yes-no question. I'm going to again say I want it on this page. Yes or no. Now I can move these things around. Again, each question and answer choice is independent, so we can place them wherever we want to. And on my clickers, we've got a yes-no question that has come up, and one student says yes and clicks finish, another student says no, clicks finish, and another student says yes and clicks finish. And you can see my real-time results coming in right away. So I can stop that question, and again, insert that chart into Notebook if I want. Under next steps, I'm going to say I want to clear the results so I can take this assessment again at some point. And for formative assessment, normally that's what we'd want to do. So I move on to my next. What words come to mind when you think of a horse? So this is a different type of question. Here I'm going to insert a instant text question on this page. Alright. So one student says, and over here I can see the response. We've got the pie chart isn't necessarily going to be very useful in this situation since we're looking for various answers and there isn't one set answer. But I can see we've still got one student who hasn't answered. So if they've got a clicker and we know they're supposed to be answering, nice thing about the clickers is you can see who's participating. And if we weren't in anonymous mode, we'd actually be able to see the name of that student to indicate that they haven't answered the question yet. So it's guaranteed participation. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this question, and I'm going to show the details, and you can see I can insert a chart into Notebook, and it pulls these in separately, so I can take this one and delete that, but I can pull in all of those words as well, and we can talk about them. Okay, so under next steps, we would probably want to clear the results to take the assessment again. That way we can use it for the next period or the next class. Okay, so let's make sure that we have covered everything. We've talked about how you can add content to a question page. We can always create a brand new page and insert a question and then add content to it after the fact. Or we can add it to a page where we've already got the content. Anonymous mode, it's going to prompt you very quickly to start the class if you haven't already, and the students will tell you that they can't sign in if you haven't started the class. That's real easy to do under response or the teacher tools. Then you're going to start that question, and as an instant question, it's going to start right away. One thing I should note is that under response, you can also insert questions. But a lot of times those questions are going to be inserted on a new page. With instant questions, those questions go straight into the page that you're working on. If, for instance, you don't see the ability to insert a question, you see how these are grayed out, not giving me the ability to insert a question right there, it could be that you need to stop the assessment. And now that I've stopped the last assessment, you can see I have the ability to pull in instant questions again, or up here to insert a question as well. So it's a helpful troubleshooting tip. And we've talked about stopping the question, reviewing the results, and the importance of, especially with formative assessment, going to next steps so that you can clear that question and those results for the next class. All right. Again, my name is Eric Folks. Lori Ramsey and I would be more than happy to come in and help you one-on-one with any of these, whether we're talking about anonymous mode or class mode. I appreciate your time, and good luck.